Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. Today is Wednesday, September 25th. Welcome to the season finale of Deliberate Discussions. I am your co-host, Vicki Horton.
And I'm your co-host, Adric Parker.
And we are Deliberate Discussions. One last time for season 6.
Wait a minute, Fred. But we got to do it again for the road.
Okay.
Start over. Start over, Fred.
Good evening, everybody. Today is Wednesday, September 25th. Welcome to another episode of Deliberate Discussions. I am your co-host, Vicki Horton.
And I'm your co-host, Adric Parker.
And we are Deliberate Discussions.
Good job, Fred. Good job. I absolutely love that. I don't know why every time I get cracked up, every time
you. I have no idea why it tickles you so. I really don't know. But listen, if I can make you smile, I'm glad.
Oh, thank you, Pumpkin. I appreciate that. I am so excited that tonight is our season 6 finale show. Wow. I cannot believe that we have been running Deliberate Discussions for 6 seasons. This is absolutely amazing. And I swear to God, I could not have had the best co-host in the whole wide world.
I have the best co-host in the world.
I have the best co-host.
No, I have the best.
I don't know what you got. I got the best co-host. So if you want to fight about it or what? What you want to do?
Hey, you already know how I'm coming.
I love you, babe. I love you so much.
I love you more. This is just so amazing, Fadric. We went 15. This is our 15th episode for this season. We've never done this many episodes.
We have
but
not.
Because of our viewers, we want to thank them so very much. They have insisted that we keep going.
Correct.
And eventually, when we get to a place with Deliberate Discussions, we will start coming to you, more often, or just on each and every Wednesday. So just, keep that in mind. We're working on some good things in the future.
Correct.
Okay. So with that being said, what do we have going on tonight, Fadric?
Tonight is a great episode. We have 2 amazing co-hosts that is joining the show tonight. And I'm so grateful for them being able to be a part of the show tonight. We're going to talk about, mental health in the Black community. We're also going to talk about the struggles of being a trans woman in the Black community and the churches as well. We're going to talk about forgiveness for parents. And it's just some few things that we've actually touched on in this season and in previous seasons as well. And it just feels so good to have 2 amazing co-hosts tonight to actually have a broader conversation with people that's actually living it, that's a part of it, that, that's currently going through it. So I'm excited to have our two co-hosts tonight. So if you want to go ahead and introduce them, I'll bring them on.
Most definitely. Our first guest co-host is none other than Mia J, the owner CEO of Glamorous. Is it Hair by Glamorous?
Hair by Glamorous, Touch by Glamorous.
Okay, see, that's what I'm saying. Welcome to Deliberate Discussions. You and I have been talking about it for over a year, and you're finally here.
Hey.
We are so happy to have you. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. And our second guest co-host is none other than my co-host's mom, Miss Maria Marshall Bean.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, baby mama, how are you?
I'm good. How you guys doing?
Ma, raise your phone up. We only got part of your head.
Oh, you got part of my head? Oh, I'm sorry. That's good.
Are you trying to show us your TT?
Welcome to each of you all to our season 6 finale of Deliberate Discussions. We are so excited to have you all with us tonight.
Oh, no, that's terrible. Okay, that's better. Is that better, T-Man?
That is good. You're fine.
Let me back up. Okay.
All right, so let's start this conversation.
Okay.
Go for it, friend.
Okay, I'm sorry. I got it. It's saying Mia J is echoing. I'm getting everybody. Hey, Cam, thank you for letting me know that. Okay, I'm sorry. I got it. It's saying Mia J is echoing. I'm getting everybody. Hey, Cam, thank you. All right. We're gonna get through this. Okay, Bam, thank you so much for pointing it out to me. We do have a little technical difficulties tonight, so we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna let Mia introduce herself, and let's talk about it.
Well, I'm Mia J. I'm a stylist. I'm a 26-year-old stylist, 27-year-old stylist from Boynton Beach, Florida. What could I say? I'm just happy to be on the show today. I'm a little nervous, echoing from my end, but I'm nervous and I'm blessed. I'm blessed to be here. I'm glad to be on your show.
Well, it's all love, Mia. We're so excited to have you. And I know your first time on here, so I know the nerves are running and whatever, but we got
Not really, because
We
I'm
got
a business person, so I kind of talk all the time. So it's nothing new. I'm just saying a lot of people.
But we got you. It's going to be a great show. And we want you to be extremely transparent as you want to, because I will say, being a part of the alphabet community as well, I think what you're bringing to this platform tonight is so necessary.
Yeah.
And we've spoken about Black trans women so many times on this show. So to have you here to talk about your experience, I'm so grateful.
Thank you.
And Mia, one of the things that one of the reasons I wanted to have you on the show tonight is a conversation that you and I had a couple months ago of an incident that took place with you, and you made a Facebook post, and I reached out to you on that, and you asked me a couple questions, and I made a promise to you. I said I don't know the answers to those questions, but I promise you that I will do everything that I can to get you the answers that you need as a person. So, with that being said, what's on your mind tonight? Let's talk about. I want you to get it off your
You
chest.
bring the topic up. You guys bring topics up, and I'm gonna answer the questions. I'm gonna speak on how I feel.
Okay. All right. So let me just ask you. Okay. So as a young transgender, what are the things that you struggle with the most in the community?
Let's be real. So, I don't ever want a woman to think I'm trying to take their place, or I'm trying to be something, be who they are, or because I know what I am, and I try to tell people I'm very confident, I'm very cozy. I know what God has made me. I know when I stand up in the mirror, I know what I am, but I cannot control the feelings that I have, or I cannot control who I want to be, or dim my light to let somebody else shine. No, my light always gonna shine because I'm very uniquely and wonderfully made in who God have made me to be. That's I'm gonna be at all times. So I don't want women to get under this perception of transgenders. We want to take their place. We can never take our place. I cannot reproduce how you reproduce.
Oh.
I cannot do the things that you could do. But
Raise
I
your
know
phone,
who I am.
Raise your phone up, love. Raise your phone up.
I know who I am as a person. So I don't get, I don't want to get things misconstrued with women, and I'm trying to say, oh, y'all want to be women. No, we don't. We don't. Because I don't know the labor pains that you go through, nor do I want to experience them. But I know I'm comfortable with who I am. So.
Okay.
And that says a lot. And that is a huge misconception when it comes to trans women and biological women, the misconception that trans women are trying to be for women or replace for women. It's far from the truth. I personally think that any biological real woman that has an issue with a trans woman is insecure.
Yeah, then you look deep into their stuff and what's really going on. That's what it is.
Correct. Your experience as a Black trans woman in the community, and of course being where you're from in South Florida, Palm Beach County. Tell me about, and I know your faith runs deep in the church. I know, I've watched your lives. I know you speak heavily of God, but tell us about your experience as a Black trans woman in the church.
Whew, that's some of the craziest things. First of all, working in the funeral industry, and then being basically like a community liaison in the community, somebody that do try to give back, that does try to help. It's very hard being who I want to be and then still trying to say I love God, because they try to say, well, how could you love God and you struggle with this? Well, how I wear my sins so people know it, but what do we do about these men in the church that are doing the same thing that I'm doing, and they're not being who they are? I wear my sin. So I try to tell people I'm wearing my sin. So you know what I'm struggling. But what do we do with all these other people, these women when you come into church, oh well, why it got a dress on? Because that's the first thing they say. Why it got a dress on, and that should be acceptable. Well, what we do with these men that are dressed up in these suits, shouting all over the church, and love men too. What we keep that under the rug, and it comes from the black cis women. It stems from them. It stems from these black holy women that say, "Oh God, this, God that," but the church is a hospital. The church is where people come to get deliverance. But the reason why us and black people don't come for deliverance because it's judging. But that's why you got to have a personal relationship with that man. And you got to know who's the author and the finisher of your faith. But as long as you have faith, and let's go back to biblical. I want to get to have church on here, but the devil was an angel too. So when people go to sin, oh this and this and that, but what do you struggle with late in the midnight hour when all the church, we take all our masks off and make up the hair off? What are you struggling with? What is your deep dark down? What are you battling? Because I know what I'm battling. But what are you battling?
Wow.
Let me tell you this, Mia. And everybody know how I feel about church folk. I too, I know where my faith is. Very comfortable. I praise the Lord. But for me, church, especially black churches, I don't personally feel like it's a safe space to openly go to. Okay, and I will tell you this straight up: don't allow those people in that church to dictate how you choose to serve the Lord.
Oh, of course not.
You know where and I know that you are a strong woman, a strong trans woman, and you know where your faith lies. I'm gonna say this straight, with no chaser. Fuck them.
Period. I agree.
It's that simple.
I agree.
Because, like you said when you started the conversation,
and to cut you off,
they want to crucify you because the one thing that we do in the black church, we pick and choose what sins we want to crucify somebody for.
But what are we doing with the choir director in the church that's directing?
No, what are we doing with that same pastor that's married to that first lady that's crucifying you, but that's fucking him and tomorrow night?
Come on.
Okay, so if we're gonna talk about it, let's talk about it.
Hey,
you understand what I'm saying? So you, as a black trans woman, you have a right to praise the Lord just like anybody else.
And I go in just how I go. And let me tell you, so I'm not here to promote my church, but I have one of the best pastors on this side of heaven. Her name is Pastor Cheryl Powell, and Kingdom Builders Worship Center, where we live, learn, and grow. And when I tell you, they welcome you with open arms. No, it's a no judgment zone. And when I tell you, when I found that church, I felt like that was my safe place. I felt that's where I can really go, and I could go seek deliverance if I wanted deliverance. Correct. Because people know what they want, when they want it, and how they want it. Correct. But God also has the final say. So I try to tell people, you have to go to church with an open heart and an open mind. You can't go into church with a closed hand, with a closed fist, and don't think. When deliverance takes place, that's when deliverance takes place. It don't happen on your time; it happens on God's time. But you got to have an open heart and an open mind, and that's what I do when I go to church. I have an open heart, I have an open mind. I'm very, if deliverance comes, it comes. I'm not going to ever stop deliverance from taking place. Correct. What I'm not going to do is I'm not going to let nobody in church disrespect me or make me feel out of place. Because I'm paying my tithes and my offering just as such as you. I just have a nice pair of red bottoms and a nice dress on.
Come on, red bottoms and dress.
Simple.
Yeah, and that's great. And it's just, and that's the problem that I have is that they pick and choose what sins they want to crucify you for, but they ain't thinking about all the shit they out there doing.
But what are they doing with the liars, the rapists, the molesters, the liars, the whoremongers? What are they doing with these people? But because I'm gay, or I'm in the the alphabet community, we're judged on it. But what we doing with all these people that's struggling too, creeping late night? What we doing about that? These preachers that get up and preach the word of God and lay hands on, and as Black people, we really have to hold ourselves accountable, because I remember a certain time when my mom and dad were not very open to it, and they were, let's go to the altar and let's clap our hands till you get the Holy Ghost and it's gonna be changed. And no, babe, I got up and I was still the same way. I still like the touch of a man. After I got up and we did all that, I still love me.
I so wish us these black parents stop thinking that they can pray the gay away.
You can. You're gay. If your child is gay, wake up and smell the coffee beans, babe. He's gay. It's something you have to take, you know. And you're right. Some churches don't have to accept it. Some churches don't have to let you share around, do all that. You know, you sit down. But I'm going to give God all the praise that I'm going to give him because I know it's what it's due. That's what I'm going to do.
And you should, as you should. So with all that going on and knowing where your faith lies, and you know, and also feeling at times the church for yourself being a black trans woman is not a safe space. Tell us how that affects your mental health.
A big time. I was in a church recently, Vicky, you know about it, and I was doing a funeral, and the pastor said something to the head funeral director, and she was like, he came to her and said that it's very inappropriate that they would allow me to wear a dress in God's house and direct the funeral. And my funeral director was like, what? We're here providing a service.
And it's very inappropriate that that same pastor will run out and get his dick stuck in the middle of the night.
Right. So I said in so many words, it kind of hurt me. But I had to remember that when I became who I was, I'm very strong. I'm very strong-minded. I did not let that affect me. I was like, it is what it is, you know? If he don't like it, we're going to do acknowledgments and we're going to sit down. Because that's what I'm here to do. I'm serving the family. I'm giving the family what they paid for it. I'm going to sit down. But it affected me. And it affected me.
Let me stop you and ask you this, Mia. So when this came to you, this is where you have to choose to be who you are
Mm-hmm.
and your profession that you're in.
Mm-hmm.
How did you handle that situation? Because you know me, you know Auntie. Auntie gonna go off the handle. I'm cussing everybody in the church.
No, I think
fuck you, and fuck you too, especially you, bitch.
But you know, I'm the younger me. I would have probably did all that carrying on. But this new me and the adult me, I was like, okay, it is what it is. I'm providing a service for my family. So if you have a problem, you can go tell that family you don't want me to serve them, and then you can get the backlash. But I was like, okay, I'm gonna do acknowledgments and I'm gonna sit down with my black dress on, cross my legs, and we're gonna proceed to moving. And that's what I did. And I just told the pastor, well, it's kind of not, we are using your church, we're facilitating your church, but I'm serving the family. And if it was that, tell him. And I sat down and I just told him, you know, you have a lot of skeletons in your closet that I think that you need to take self-examination. And then, you know, look back on the things that you said to me.
Let me leave and go back.
So I just feel like I'm in another level. Like I'm in a whole different level. Like my mind, I don't think the same. I don't talk the same. And I thank God for change. I thank him for change.
And I can vouch for you with that too.
I'm glad that
I would have made a live about him. I would have did all that, but what would I be getting out of that? Because you know he have his own things that he's struggling, and God sees all and He knows all. And I, you know, when people go to judging, that's because they have something on the inside of them that they need to, you know, make right in Christ.
I guess the thing that gets me is the fact that we are always expected to shut up and be the bigger person. That's the thing that gets me, you know. And my thing is this, especially when people say, "Oh, that's a man of God, you shouldn't disrespect him." But it's okay for that man of God to criticize me in the way that I choose to live my life.
Right.
But I'm not supposed to say anything, you know. And I will tell anybody that, listen, I'm soon to be 48 years old. I wouldn't give a damn who you are. I am going to say what I want to say because we all have a right to be in a safe space.
Right.
You know, and again, it's not what you say, it's how you say things. I don't care. I demand respect. I don't give a damn if you're a man of God, the president of this country, this, that, and the other stuff. You believe just like I believe.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, I have a right to live my life the way that I choose to live my life. And my thing is, can't no man of God come tell me nothing.
when I know what he doing in the streets.
Yeah, you're right.
Right.
You're absolutely right.
So I have passion for this, and I my heart cries out for you as a Black trans woman in this community, because I know it's 10 times harder for you than it is for me being an elderly Black man.
It is.
You
And
understand what I'm
the
saying?
thing
So
is,
my heart goes out to you. So the only thing I can say to you, sister, fuck those people,
right.
and you live your life, Mia. And it pisses me off that pastor did that to you. I know exactly what pastor did that to you.
Right.
And I know exactly what that pastor has done in the midnight hour.
Come on now. Me too. Me too.
When it
I
happened,
know too.
I was kind of taken back from it a little bit. And most times I will call my dad because I feel like you're my dad's age, And but some say don't call your daddy. It's time for you to be a big girl. Put in your big girl panties, and this how you gonna handle it as a grown woman. As you say, you're a woman.
Mm-hmm.
I just said, okay, Pastor, you got it. You know this your church. I can't do what I got to do. I'll be in your church, be in your house, but I'm serving the family. I'm giving you service, and I'm going to go sit down about my day. And that's what I did. I did my acknowledgments, and that's what it was. But I was just taken back from it. And you have to respect how some people feel. But what I don't respect is you living your life a certain way. You beating on women. You lying. You up in the prophet lying, doing all that other stuff, and you want to criticize me. So you need to tell, and I try to tell people, take a self-examination before you
Now,
get.
I'm gonna tell you now. Hold on. We don't want to give too much. We don't want to give too much on this one particular pastor, because when you told me who it was, and I told you, oh no, he did not.
Right.
I know he did not. No, not with all the dirt I know about him.
I was just taken back from it. Like I said again, I was taken back from it. I was shocked by it, but I got over it. It is what it is. It's life. That's what happens. You got to take it with a grain of salt, and that's what I did. I took it with a grain of salt, and I moved on.
Maria,
And
what's your take on this?
Whatever church I go to, I'm gonna serve them. I'm gonna do what I got to do, and I'm gonna call it a day.
And you keep on doing you, baby. You keep on doing you.
Yeah.
Maria, what is your take on this type of situation?
Well, my take, I understand exactly what Mia is saying. Me coming out, I guess for me, I've always been in the church. Always been in the church, singing on the praise team, singing in the choir, all of that. I was raised in the church, and that's just where I felt most comfortable. As I got older in life, and the other part of me started showing itself more, it was hard for me because I remember clearly the day when my pastor found out that I was a lesbian, and then I was in a relationship with a woman, and he sat me down. So I could no longer be a part of the praise team. I could no longer be in the choir. I could no longer be working with the youth department. I couldn't do anything. It's like they stripped me of everything, every title that I had within the church. And it hurt me. It broke me. It broke me, really. It really did. It broke me because I'm like, I've been, my sexual preference has nothing to do with my walk with God.
That's right.
With you know what I'm saying? Those two things do not change. Either one. One does not change the other.
That's true.
As far as I was concerned. And it hurt me by him sitting me down, and then with more people finding out, and stuff, and then they want to put you on the altar, they want to pray for you, they want to, it was just now like, no, I'm not doing that. You're not
laying no hands on me.
You can't pray this out of me. You can't keep putting oil and trying to, touch me and trying to get me to, change my lifestyle.
Yeah.
I'm very happy in my lifestyle.
Yeah.
Now
let me touch on this. And we have a mixture of people here tonight, including myself, Thadrick, Mia, and yourself. So you have Thadrick here, who is an openly gay married man
Mm-hmm.
You have Mia, who is a transgender. You have you, who is an openly gay woman,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's me. I'm bisexual.
Oh.
Okay, I love me a man, but I also love to get down with him.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm
That's
saying?
true. That's true.
Okay,
Maybe that's true.
and I think you all have it, and I hate to put this on a scale, but I don't have it as bad as you all do.
I
Because
wouldn't think you would. I
I,
don't think, to
and
me,
that's what I'm saying.
bisexuals don't.
Yeah, and I think that's what the problem is. Society looks at each of us in a totally different way.
Man,
The only
yes.
thing that we are missing is a heterosexual male or female on this show tonight,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm sure a heterosexual male will give a totally different view than a heterosexual female.
Right.
I don't get the kickback. I don't get the stares that you all may get, or the denial that you all may get. I am mostly welcomed where I am, because
Uh-huh.
people who know me, they know that I'm bisexual.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I've been married to a man. I've been with a woman. I've had girlfriends. I've had boyfriends. I've been in relationships with them.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, they don't judge me. Not. Hold on. Go ahead, Patrick.
Vicky, Mia, I'm gonna drop you out and bring you back, okay? In a minute.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So my thing is, they look at me, they don't look at me the same as they do an openly gay man or an openly gay woman or a transgender.
Mm-hmm.
They're looking at me just as a woman, always a woman.
Correct.
Yeah.
And I think society needs to get away from that, because let me tell you one thing, being married to a pastor, a fake pastor at that, I learned so much about church folks. And I grew up in the church too. My mama, I went to church every Sunday and every, Sunday school, summer Bible school and everything. But I learned so much about people in the churches. Them church folk, they got pure hell in them. Mainly the pastor. And everybody flocks to these pastors that are out there fornicating and going out in the middle of the night looking for these little boys. And in these boys' inbox, looking at porn, and have all of this stuff on their computers and on their phones, and it's, you have to ask yourself, like, how can you get up there in that pulpit, in that podium, and literally speak against one sin, and then when you get out of church, you going home into your phone, trying to pull up little boys in the shower, and you know what I'm saying, like, like, fucking fudge and all this other stuff, you know what I'm saying, you pulling up sites like this, these porn sites and everything, but I get judged differently, and it really pisses me off, because I have 2 openly gay girls. And when people speak against the LGBTQ or the alphabet community, it really bothers me. In fact, when you send me stuff, how it sets me off. It really sets me off. And I just can't imagine what Mia J goes through and being asked or being told by this one particular pastor. And it's not just him, but he's one of the worst that we all, Cedric and I know who it is. But this one particular pastor, with his past of, like Mia J say, beating on women, I know for a fact he done been with boys. I know for a fact he done been over there on Federal Highway and bought him a little. I know this.
That's because they try to make themselves, because we put so much into our pastors, and we do. We put them on such a higher pedestal. You know what I'm saying? And that's what's ingrained in us as we're growing up. Outside of me coming out fully, and let me tell you, I really didn't even come out until I was in Florida. I don't know what it's about Florida, but Florida,
it's the sunshine.
Girl, look, I did not. But the thing with me was I was married, and once my divorce was final, and then it's like, okay, I don't owe nobody no explanation about anything that I do. You know what I'm saying? So when the where I'm at right now, I am my happiest that I feel that I've ever been. I've, you know, I bask in the relationship that I'm in now. Even with our differences, I bask in that relationship because
Mhm.
it's something that I wanted so long and so badly, to be in a relationship that was open, that we can walk down the street and hold hands. My wife can kiss me in public and I'm not, don't do that. You know what I'm saying? Because, when I was first coming out, it's like, no, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that in public. But with my wife, it's we I don't care where we are. She is who she is. I am who I am, and we are one together.
That's right.
So,
As it
and
should.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that being with her has given me the opportunity to just be who I am and not try to be something that someone else wanted me to be. Because I was hurt. The church, I wanted to be in the choir. I wanted to stay in the choir. I wanted to stay on praise team. I wanted to still work with the youth in our church. And it took something from me. It took something from me when my pastor sat me down and I could not get involved with anything. So all they wanted was, okay, you can still come to church, you still pay your tithes and offering, but you can't be a part of anything with a title within the church. And so I just walked away from the church. Because you're not going to
Wow.
tell me, you're not going to take my money. My money's good. My money is good for you, but my lifestyle is not. My money and my lifestyle go together.
Hmm.
They come together. So you either gonna take them both or you're not getting either one. So, and I made that decision, and I thought I was gonna be uncomfortable with it, but then I was not. I was really surprised with myself how I was not uncomfortable with it. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna live my life the way I want to. I don't owe anybody any explanation of who I'm with and what I'm doing. Just,
Right.
you don't like it, keep moving.
Okay.
That's all I could tell you.
I totally agree.
You
I
feel
wanna
me?
say this,
You know.
I want to say this, and then we can move on. But and listening to both of you all, like for Vicky being a bisexual woman, Maria being an open lesbian, and it's much different for you guys, for you, and being bisexual, being an open lesbian, to many heterosexual men, you're looked at as a fantasy.
Yes.
Mhm.
And I got really quiet while y'all were talking because it became very emotional for me. And, listening to Mia's story as a Black trans woman in this community and knowing some of the things that she faced as a Black woman, but me also being an openly gay Black man in this community as well, I want you all to understand, as well as the audience, and especially our audience members that may have gay children. It is very difficult.
It is.
For us in today's society. We are judged by so many.
Yes, that is so true.
That's very true.
So many.
That's very true.
That is so true.
We always have to be on guard. We always have to fight 10 times for respect.
Yeah.
And it's dangerous for you all.
Very
absolutely.
And you guys don't understand half of the stuff we go through just to be accepted.
Who you are. That's right.
And to be who we are.
Mhm.
My heart cries out for Mia. She is she's a strong Black
woman. Yes.
in this community. I will tell you that incident that occurred with her, I take my hat off to her, the way that she chose to handle the situation. I can honestly say, for me, it would have been something completely different.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
I told Mia, and Mia's trying to get back in.
I sent her the link. Did she check?
Yeah, she said it wasn't letting her back in. I told her to shut her phone off and shut it all the way down and then turn it back on. But she and we talked about it, and I commend her, because I'm like, I want to call that pastor so bad and get him.
Let me tell you another thing about that, Vicky, and especially when it come from a trans woman perspective, having so many openly trans women friends,
these Black men also look at trans, they may deny them and look down on them in public and all that stuff or whatever, but behind closed doors or at nighttime, they too are a fantasy to these men.
Mm.
You understand what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
these same men that's out criticizing these trans women in public because of their
Mhm.
homeboys or what society's going to say or what the church is going to say,
Yeah.
these same men are out doing things with these
Exactly.
trans.
Right.
It's a fantasy to them as well.
Mhm.
You know, so
Mhm.
it's unfortunate that she had to endure that type of
That's
scrutiny
it.
in
Mhm.
public, especially in the Lord's house when she has
Right.
she was providing a service to a family
Mhm.
and everything. And unfortunately, this pastor felt uncomfortable because he has his own demons or whatever. But it is a struggle on a daily basis, you know. So
Yeah.
I just want everybody to learn how to love, but also, and again, you don't have to agree with our
Mhm.
lifestyle, but respect it.
Respect it. That's right.
Because one thing I'm not going to do is force feed my lifestyle to anybody
That's
because
right.
I don't give a damn.
Mm-mm.
You know,
Nope.
but when it comes on to disrespect and things like that, that's where I have a problem. And I find most of the disrespect coming from the Black church community.
It is.
Mhm.
It is. And,
Absolutely.
you know, it's sad that he was providing a service that the family wanted,
Correct.
you know, to lay their family to rest.
Correct.
And Mia J has a beautiful voice, first
Correct.
of all.
Mhm.
And isn't that what we're supposed to do? We're supposed to
Mm.
sing praises unto the
Good
Lord.
God. That's right.
You know,
Right.
I mean, when you know, I would only hope that, you know, my homegoing service is filled with music that makes people, you know, smile and give joy, you know, to God. It's not just about being in church to
Mhm.
send me off, but I want people to have a party
That's
in the
right.
church. You know what I'm
That's
saying? I
right.
want the
That's right.
tambourines shaking. I want to hear the
Mhm.
trumpets and the piano and the
Mhm.
organ playing. And, you know, I want to hear Kim singing, you know, I want to hear Kim singing, you know, the song, there's a leak in this old building. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I want to hear going up yonder. I'm going to see
Exactly.
the team. I want all of that.
All that. Yeah.
You know, and I want
Yeah.
my friends and, you know, my I want everybody who's there to send me off home. I want them to send me off
Right.
good. I don't want no
Right.
crying. I don't want all of that. I want to
Mhm.
be sent off in a very happy way. I want to celebrate my life.
Correct.
Mhm.
Correct.
Mhm.
Because once we're in that casket, baby,
There ain't no coming
I
back.
ain't know that ain't nothing but
What?
that ain't nothing but flesh and bone.
Okay.
Correct. Correct.
Okay.
We
But you
can't
know
go
what?
in there.
You know what? What's so crazy to me is in the church, they will, they don't want the gay, lesbians, they don't want us to be a part of anything. But yet they will allow a rapist who have changed his life, a murderer who has found Jesus while he was in prison. You understand what I'm saying? You
Preach.
could do
Yeah.
anything
Preach,
else
Maria,
on this
preach.
They're house
earth.
preachers.
You
Preach,
feel me?
Maria.
But
They're
he gonna
house
let you in
preachers.
that
That's
damn
true.
pulpit.
That's true.
Preach,
You be
Maria.
up there
Let-
preaching, just going through the Bible, and you done sat here, you done did this and that. But yet, if you come in there as a gay woman, as a gay man, and that's your lifestyle, and they see that you're happy. Now, see that you're happy, they want to tear down that happiness because it is just something about the gay community that they will just not accept. But you'll accept everybody else.
But
that
and
allow,
here's
you
but here's
allowed
my
to be in
thing
your
with all of
pulpit.
that. You
It's just
going to
crazy.
church to hear the word.
Yes.
Why are you worried
Yes. I
about
don't
this
care nothing
person
about that
wearing
other
a
stuff.
dress? Why are you
It's
worried
crazy.
about this person being gay? What you don't know what these people do behind closed doors. What you do behind closed doors?
Exactly. I don't care nothing about that. Because see, the only people that I was concerned about accepting me for who I really was my kids.
Yeah.
My sons. Those are the only ones. My sons. My oldest and my youngest. Those are the only ones I was concerned about. Now, and the only reason that I really was concerned about really my oldest was because he was playing football. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't want his teammates to, I don't know, look at him differently because his mother is gay.
Right.
You understand? So that was that part of it's like those people that he dealt with when he was playing football. It's like, okay, I would tell him, look, I am who I am. I'm not going to be something that you want them to see. And my son was like, Mom, I don't care nothing about what they say. You my mama, I love you. If you happy, I'm happy for you. And baby, that was it. that was like shooting me off in a rocket. You hear what I say? Because
And
my
see, and
kids were accepted.
different. I think so different about that, Maria, because the fact that I understand that was your son and you cared about what your children thought. But I kind of think that as a parent, you've done your job, you've raised your child, and I kind of feel like you deserve to be happy.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying? And it's one of those things, like, for me, it's just like, okay, I am who I am. I'm a grown man. My mama done her job. My grandma done her job. My aunties and uncles done their job. Now it's up to me to do what I want and live how I want to be happy. So, I mean, I get it. You know, you cared enough about what your children thought, but I also want you to understand, being a parent, know that you've done your job. And moving forward, it's about, you have to always consider your own happiness at this point. Right? And that just takes me into the next topic, that one of the topics you had about. Oh, go ahead, Maria.
Hold on. Before we move on, I just want to give a shout out to everybody who's watching us and joining the conversation. Auntie Lizzie Josie, she's on here. Auntie Lizzie says churches where changes and deliverance takes place, and she also says there's a time and place for everything to be done in decency and in order. Now, if there's a woman in this world that loves God more than anything, it's Auntie Lizzie, and she has a voice that will put chills in your spine. Bam says, after the rain, it's a rainbow. Meaning
I do have a question, Vicky. I want to go back to that comment. Okay. So, Mia being a Black trans woman in church performing a service at a funeral wearing a dress, was that not decency and order? Was that not a time and a place?
I don't think she said that comment during.
No, I'm not saying. I just want clarity. I'm just saying.
I think so. I mean, I don't think what Mia was wearing should have even been an issue. Because she was providing a service. This is something. Listen, if the state recognizes same-sex marriages and the alphabet community, then you know what? It's time the churches came over to the New Testament and obeyed the laws of the land and did the same without judging people. How can you expect me to come to your church and yet you're judging who I am and who I'm meant to be? So, you know, to me, I think Mia, I think Mia, how she was dressed, that had absolutely nothing to do with what she was doing there. That was a preference from the pastor. That's some guilt that the pastor dealing with himself from sin, because maybe the pastor was attracted to Mia. Okay, maybe the pastor was attracted to Mia and didn't
want his business put out there.
Now, this pastor here, he probably thought somebody just looking at him and saw right through him. Because if I was there at that service that day, I sure would have been like, yeah, she offending you, ain't you? You want some, don't you? Go ahead. I sure would have said it. Shout out to Auntie Irma. Hey, Auntie Irma. Auntie Irma says, say it, Maria. No judgment here. Auntie love y'all. Okay. We love you too, Auntie Irma.
Love you too. And yes.
Going back to what I said, you know, y'all, Auntie Irma says that's a shame. She said, you have to fight, which, like I said, y'all have to fight. Unfortunately, I don't have to fight. Ava Shawn says, but Mia J carries herself as a woman every day. That's who she is. Exactly, Ava Shawn. That's exactly who she is. That's how everybody needs to accept that, including pastors. If you don't want Mia J in your church, you need to find out who's going to be conducting the funeral and give that family that choice of not having the services at your church, or you not coming to your church, because I'm pretty sure that family paid money to have that funeral service at your church. But I ain't gonna go there because I'm gonna be done said his name and see. I guarantee. I promise you. I almost said it twice. I
do have a request.
Yes.
This conversation is becoming very triggering.
What's your request?
Move on.
Okay.
You want to move on?
It's becoming very triggering.
Okay.
Very triggering, and I'm trying my best to hold my emotions together.
Okay.
And I just want to say this because I just want people to understand the bigger picture. We being openly gay is not the problem in the church.
We're not.
I was a teenager
in the church secretly involved with a married pastor.
My God.
A pastor that prayed on me
Mm,
until I gave in.
mm.
A pastor thought it was okay to shower me with gifts and money and all this stuff, to do this and to do that and everything. So I say this conversation is coming very triggering because it's bigger.
Yeah.
Much bigger than you
Much bigger.
understand. And you have these people that sit here and throw these scriptures out and say this and you this and you sinning this and you sinning that.
Mm-hmm.
Not knowing that you just a victim.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They use the scripture for their own benefits.
Truly,
Yes.
truly
For their own benefit. You're
That's
absolutely
it.
correct.
in
Their
this
own
church.
benefit. Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I just want people to understand that it's bad, y'all. It's bad.
Yeah.
Auntie Lizzie said that's transparency right there.
It's bad, y'all. It's bad. It's bad. It's
It's
bad.
bad. It's bad.
It's
But
bad.
you know, we
I can speak about it because I've been a part of it.
Uh-huh.
we all are.
And
We
I will
all
say
are. Absolutely.
at that age, yes, I was a willing participant.
Mm.
I will say that,
Mm-hmm.
but I didn't know any better at that age.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a grown man now and I know better. I'm not interested in that. I got my own man at the house.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, but being that young teenager, not even 18 years old. Let's start there.
But you know, people gonna still hold you accountable for what you did back then.
But you're gonna hold the openly gay person accountable because we're living in sin. But this pastor can tell you to go jump off the bridge and you're gonna go jump off the bridge.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? But I'm the problem.
Come over to the New Testament, pastors.
Yeah.
Y'all church folk, come over to the New Testament.
So I just say it's deeper. And yeah, we can go on.
It is. Okay.
I'm with you, baby.
And you know what, before we move on to the next subject, and I totally forgot about this at the beginning of the show, Deliberate Discussions would like to extend condolences to the Spells and to the Bellamy families over the loss of their loved one, our loved one, because people don't know this. Cedric and I do have so much in common with each other. Quentin was your god brother.
Yes, he was.
And Quentin is also my daughter's brother. Not my son, but they have the same father. And we lost Quentin this Saturday morning to a car accident. So to Kim Spells and to Bobby Bellamy and all of Quentin's siblings, God siblings, aunts, uncles, to the whole family, our condolences sincerely go out to you over your loss. It has truly affected all of us. We all loved Quentin very much, and he'll never be forgotten. Never.
Rest in peace, brother. Love you.
Okay, so what we got going on next? Touching on, we're going to touch on forgiveness. We talked about this subject last week. We're going to touch on forgiveness again. When a parent has continually hurt you, are you still expected to forgive them? I hope my daughters are watching this tonight.
And I hope that I hope that you parents can be open.
Let me text them. So Maria, you still with us?
She's in the studio. I keep trying to bring her back, but she ain't coming back. I see her right there. Maria, can you hear us?
Oh, she said she logged off.
Oh, okay.
She logged off. Okay, so I wanted Maria on here because this Cedric, how do you feel? Okay, when your parent has continually hurt you, are you still expected to forgive them? Let me just say my experience. Honestly, there was a time when my mom was alive. My mom did hurt me really, really bad, to the point where, and I think I've told this before on here, I'm very transparent, but my mom hurt me and my feelings really bad. And I got to the point where I didn't want any contact with her or anybody in my family. She literally had to call someone else's mother to get in contact with me. She didn't know where I lived or anything. So I did forgive my mother, and you know, we worked that out. Now, my father, I have to be understanding because my dad is 93, I think. And he tends to call me my other siblings' names. I'm his baby girl, and he doesn't know my voice. And I'm like, you always put, you always saying this, you always saying that, and I have to constantly forgive him on a daily basis when I talk to him because I just brush it off as he's elderly now.
What are you saying, that he doesn't know who you are when you speak to him?
He says he knows who I am, but when he's on the phone, he's like, I'm like, hey, daddy. And he'll be like, oh, who is this? So-and-so. And I'm like, no, daddy, this is your baby girl. Oh, this, no, daddy, this me, this Vicky. He said, oh, how you doing, baby? How's so-and-so? He asked about my other siblings. I'm like, well, I'm the one calling you. I'm like, you don't want to know how I'm doing? So he's like, yeah, I want to know how you're doing, but I also want to know how your sisters and your brothers doing. And I'm like, well, I don't care.
Wow.
So I mean, I understand he's elderly. I gotta forgive him. But me personally, I wish my kids were on here. I don't know if they are. Vic and Jaleesa, if y'all on here, I mean, is that something? Because they get mad at me. They get mad at me. I mean,
and they get mad at you for what?
Are y'all, do y'all, forgive me?
So tell me something, Vicky.
One of those things when it comes down to parents and children, okay. I'm the only one on this call that's not a parent. I'm a child. I'm a grown adult child. So I will say this: as parents, like I said in the previous subject, parents, y'all have done y'all job. Y'all have raised y'all children, this, that, and the other and stuff. But a lot of the old school parents, they have this mentality that I'm the parent, you're the child. I don't have to listen to you, and that's not okay.
No,
that's not okay. Times have truly changed, and it's important that parents know how to take a step back and listen to their grown adult children. Okay. Now, also keep in mind that when you say when a parent has hurt their child, is the child expected to forgive them? I can only speak for me. I will always forgive my parents. You understand? And that's just who I am. Okay. But for me, I'm one of those type of people, consistency, I think is, I got to see a pattern, so.
No, I understand. I totally understand.
So and I want to be very transparent. I'm going to be very, very transparent. So Maria sent me a text the other night. I don't think Maria was ready for my answers.
Yes, I was not.
No, you can tell by the look on her face she wasn't.
I was not.
But she knows me very well. I know she was like, God damn,
I don't know why you let him catch you off guard like that, because me, when he texts me, I expect it. If I text him, I don't know what I'm gonna get back.
It's like, oh my God,
the worst of the worst. I ain't gonna even lie to you.
I can't. Sometimes I look at my phone like, did he just say that? And just keep it going.
But Maria, but you have to say, when you thought about it, it made sense, right?
Yes, absolutely. Oh yes, absolutely. It made sense to me. Now, see, you guys are your forgiveness. I hear what you say, Vicky, with your dad and stuff. And T-Man, I understand where you're coming from as with forgiveness. For me, without getting into too much detail, for me, forgiveness was out the window. It was completely out the window for me. I was not about to let myself. No, let me back up. I wanted the love from my mom, from my dad. I wanted that. And I didn't get it. Being raised the way that I was, the family that raised me, they were awesome. Oh my gosh, they were awesome. People talk about the foster care and all of that, and they've gone, it was this way, it was bad, it was, I wasn't, that's not the life that I lived when I was growing up in foster care. Forgiveness was very hard for me. It was very hard for me all the way to the end. It was hard for me because you guys are just the opposite of how it was for me. You come from loving parents. You come from, you know what I'm saying? So for being forgiven or forgiving them meant a lot to you. For me, I was a grudge holder. I would hold a grudge like you never believe. I would hold a grudge because of everything, of all the things that my parents not being a part of my life growing up, all of those missed things, the birthdays, you know, the this, that, and the other. But I guess my father, I forgave him when I could not forgive my mother. Because growing up, my dad, his father owned a taxi service in Connecticut where we were from. He was the only black taxi service, right? Every day, Bruce Jr. would pick me up from my foster home, take me to school. Every afternoon, he was waiting outside and picked me up from school and took me back to my foster home. On Fridays, he would take me to the ice cream shop, and he would get me ice cream, and then he would take me home. Unbeknownst to me that he was my father.
Oh.
Like I didn't know that he was my father. I just knew him as Mr. Bruce, and he picked me up, took me to school, and then he was there and he brought me back home. And then on Fridays, he was very nice to me. You know what I'm saying? And I remember him bringing Easter baskets and birthday gifts, everything. But I did not know that he was my father until, oh my gosh, I was in high school. I was in high school when I actually found out who he actually was.
So let me ask you, so did you had resentment towards him because you didn't know? Is that what I'm understanding?
No.
Okay.
I what my resentment was that I saw him every single day. He was a part of my life every single day, but I felt like I wasn't good enough for him to, let me know who he actually was. It's like he's playing a secret role. He's there, but I don't know who he is.
So was that his fault or your mom's fault?
Yeah.
No, it wasn't my mother's. It wasn't my mother's
the
fault.
resentment that you had towards him is because he didn't tell you?
Yeah, my anger was that he didn't tell me. But you know what? But my anger didn't last long with him.
Okay.
It really didn't. My anger didn't last long with him because when I left Connecticut and my dad was living in New York, I left Connecticut and went and lived with my dad.
Mm-hmm.
So we did develop a very good father-daughter relationship. And he explained to me why he did not, come out and let me know who he actually was. But he wanted to be a part of my life, whether it was beknownst to me, but at least at some point, he told me that at least I know at some point when you did find out who I really was to you, that you would have some good memories. And that stuck with me.
That's amazing.
Okay, so with that being said, let me ask you this. Just imagine had he told you then.
I would have felt wanted.
So
as a child, I would have felt wanted. My dad is here. My dad is in my life. Because keep in mind, I didn't even really know who my mom was until I was 11, 12 years old.
okay.
Just so
do you mind telling us why he didn't tell you?
Yeah.
I think honestly, my foster parents were like, no, she's got to be older. You know what I'm saying? My foster parents. So my foster mom was like, she was okay with him being in my life. But as far as telling me who he was, she's like, that's going to have to take some time. But
is that because she felt he would take off on you, or
she never really talked to me about it. She never talk to me about it. I just
let me ask you this. Do you think with your experience, and this question was asked to me last week, which is why I said I had a lot of questions for you. Do you think that children should know their biological parents?
I think
if
yes.
so, why or why not?
Well, see, I think that they should know who their biological parents are. Whether or not they are able to be a part of each other's lives is something totally different. You know what I'm saying? So it would have been okay with me if I knew who my mother was. You know what I'm saying? But it was not that. That was something that hurt me because I didn't know who she was until I got a little older. And by the time I knew who my mother was, she was already married for about 4 or 5 years. She got a husband. He, he's in city politics, chief of police, and she was close to his kids, to his daughter.
Did she have any other kids besides you?
No, I'm the only one.
Oh, wow.
I'm the only one. I'm the only one, and I'm my father's oldest.
So let me say this, Maria. Read this. It took me 20 years. I was raised by someone else. Didn't know for years that my Uncle Mac O'Neill was my blood uncle. Lived next door and didn't know it. My mom told me why, but it was kept a secret for all those years. I made peace with my mom before. I can't see the whole thing. Before she died in 2016, but it was hurtful. I was the only one raised without my 7 sisters and twin brother.
And a twin brother?
And a twin brother. Forgiveness finally came. My transparency, Auntie Irma. Oh my God, Auntie Irma.
See, what's crazy is, let me tell you what's crazy is that I didn't know I had brothers and sisters. Me and my brother Dennis found out who each other were on a city bus. We were on the same city bus, and people were like, hey, he was like, he asked me, he was like, are you Maria? I was like, yeah. I'm like, who are you? And he was like, I'm Dennis. He was like, is Bruce your dad? And I was like, yeah, why? And he was like, that's my father too. We were teenagers in high school when we found out that we were brother and sister. And then to find out that my dad had like 5, 6, 7, 8 more kids. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't know them.
How did you feel when you found out about all your other siblings on your father's side? How did that make you feel?
It hurt me. It did bother me. It bothered me because once I started living with my mother, it was all about her husband's family and his kids. So I really didn't get a chance to be a part of my sisters and brothers' lives or my cousins. And I mean, it was crazy. It was crazy. When I tell you, my truth could be a Lifetime movie.
So have you forgiven your parents?
I'm sorry?
Have you forgiven your parents?
My father, way before my dad passed, I totally forgave him. I totally forgave him because he was always there. Every single day, I saw him every day. And although he didn't tell me who he was, when I found out who he was, I was just happy that it was somebody that I knew. You understand what I mean? So It wasn't like I was meeting this somebody that I didn't know anything about. I didn't know him or anything, but I was very comfortable. And we would talk on the phone. And then I was like, okay, when I got out of high school, I went to New York, and me and my brother Dennis, we both went to New York, and we lived with our dad for some years. We lived with him for some years. Now, my mother is a totally different thing. My mom, I just couldn't. I couldn't forgive her. And I guess with me was that the people that she put on that pedestal was her husband's family. They were all on this pedestal. And then she lived in Virginia. I'm here in Florida. When Myra got sick and needed care, they told her, oh, nobody ain't living with me. You need to call Maria. They called me. I had to go get her and bring her here, which I didn't want to do. So when she didn't want another do me all my life, but then when she needed somebody, I'm the one that's there.
Wow.
That I didn't want to do. That took a lot of talking for me. It took a lot of, man, I can't even tell you that I was open to that, because I'm like, you ain't want nothing to do with me. But now the one you didn't want the most is the only one that you got.
So your forgiveness is, I mean, your situation is a little different from mine.
Right.
Well, both of y'all's. Well, I'll say this. Of course, my mom has always been in my life, and we've, always had our up and downs. Of course, I've always been a knucklehead, and I'm just like her, so we bump heads and stuff. So, but
yes,
it comes from my father's dynamic has been a lot harder for me because not growing up with my father, you know, my uncles being my father, and then my father coming into my life as a young teenager and everything. And but then my father going out of my life because he was still a hustler in the streets and being going back to jail and stuff like that. And then when my father became a paraplegic and everything, and still went back and forth to jail being a paraplegic. And then when he finally, you know, kind of got himself together, and we became extremely close. And everybody knows Fast Eddie was just my world. I loved my dad. And when I moved to New York, you know, my dad came to visit and stuff like that. And, you know, we would talk daily and everything. And it was just amazing, just the bond that he and I had with you know, my coming out story to him. But still to this day, almost 13 years since he's been deceased, I still hold resentment towards him.
Wow.
And
it doesn't change just because they pass. Because
I hold, but the resentment I hold for him is different. I hold the resentment. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I wanted to ask you that. I mean, and you're probably going to get ready to answer this, but I want to ask you. I mean, I know you loved your dad, like you were crazy about your dad, but like, was the resentment because you didn't have all that time with him, or what was? I mean, what was
the resentment came because as close as my dad and I were, my dad felt like not disclosing his habit to his addiction to drugs. He felt like that was protecting me.
Do you understand where he was coming from with that?
And I still to this day, 13 years later, don't understand that, because the thing is, and the reason why I don't understand it is because I was an adult. We were able to talk about any and everything, you know, and my dad having an addiction problem, I felt like that was something we should have been able to talk about, because as an adult child, I felt like I should have been granted the opportunity to help my dad.
But maybe he didn't want you to see him or look at him in that light.
No,
maybe he was embarrassed.
That you know, yes, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
I mean, he could have been.
He didn't want you to see him in that light.
But you have to also realize that he could have been. He could have very well wanted that, but also look how it affected me finding out from autopsy.
Yeah, I understand where you coming from, T-Man. I totally do.
Correct.
I do.
Now,
I understand where you coming
all
from.
Years later, where it's just only if I knew could have still been here.
Right.
Let me ask you this. Do you think that's one of the reasons why you don't drink or experiment with drugs? Do you think that played an impact on?
Even prior to that, I've never been a drinker, or you know, I did smoke weed in my younger, you know, teenage, early adult years.
Weed ain't nothing.
Again, I'm very adamant now at this point, since my father's death, of not drugs. You know, finding out after talking to you on the phone with my dad the day before for hours, like we always did, and then receive a phone call the next day saying, "Hey, is this Thad? Yes, this is Thad. Oh, your daddy's dead."
Wow. And
that was the word verbatim.
Wow. Really?
I'm like, well, what are you talking about?
What are you talking about? Exactly.
And like, well, they found your dad in his apartment dead, and we're here now, the coroner's. And I recall calling my mother and saying, "Hey, I just got a call. Somebody telling me that my dad was dead. Can you go there?" And she went, and she confirmed that he had died. And I didn't know for some time as to why did he die. You get what I'm saying? And when there was so much speculation, of course, when my dad became a paraplegic, he became a paraplegic because he had gotten shot 12 times. So it was like he He still,
Damn.
he still had several bullets in his body. So
Did
it's
you
like
say 12 times?
12 times?
Fast Eddie had got shot 12 times. So that's how he became paralytic. So it's like, okay, did one of the bullets move and killed him or whatever? Or something.
God.
I never in a million years, y'all, thought that my father was on drugs. Never.
Never
Really?
let you see it.
I
Right?
got confirmation from the coroner. I was devastated.
Done. Yeah, of course.
So when he came to visit you, he was just like,
He was
Dad,
that.
this is normal,
I tell
Dad.
you, it was the normal, happiest man in the world that he was with his son.
Mm-hmm.
He was the
Well, that's
happiest
good.
in the world.
That's
that
good.
he was with me. You know, I never, ever, ever. And my dad's drug of choice was cocaine. He had OD'd on an 8-ball. But still to this day, it hurts. It pains me. Like,
I can understand
why
that.
wasn't I granted the opportunity to help him?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think, or do you think anything at all that we, your friends and your family, can do? Do you think, is there anything that we can do that would help you come to grips or come to terms with that resentment that you feel? I mean, because I know you made peace with your dad, you have good memories of him towards the end, but I'm asking you as a friend, as your sister, as someone who loves you, I want you to
Let go.
let that go. I need you to
Right.
let that resentment go, and I want to help you.
I've never dealt with the fact of losing a parent. It's not the easiest thing in the world. It is.
Yeah.
Losing a parent in that way and
Yeah.
not knowing and being so close and sharing so much together and then not being an only child is different.
Mm-hmm.
It's a different walk when you're an only child.
I know. I was my mother's only child, so I understand exactly what you're saying.
Completely different walk.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people don't understand.
They
And
don't.
that's one of the reasons why I fight so much with my mama, because being an only child is a completely different walk.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It is.
And I can't see. I'm number 10 of 10, so I can't.
It gets very, very
hard
when you
Yes.
when
It's
you
hard.
lose a parent.
Yes.
And you fear losing the other one.
Uh-huh.
And so that's why I get so upset. And when I don't connect with my mama like I want to, or just talk to her, just feel like I have her attention, because it's hard losing a parent.
Yeah.
All you ever want to do is, especially when you're an only child, is be there for your parents.
Yeah.
And so I still hold on to, Dad, why?
Mm-hmm.
Why wasn't I given an opportunity to help you? Why wasn't I grown enough to have this adult conversation with you? And when I tell y'all, my dad used to say so much, don't you ever drink, don't you ever do drugs, don't you ever smoke a cigarette. I remember one time I lit one of my mama's cigarettes. My dad was so angry with me. He was so angry. He was so mad. He cussed my mama out for her letting me light her cigarette. He was so mad with her. I remember that. And all the while, I never knew my dad had his own problem with addiction. Never, ever, ever knew. And it was so hard. It is still hard to this day. And I'm so sorry.
Don't apologize.
Let it out, friend. Let it
Do
out.
not apologize.
Let it out.
I am so... And Maria know, what I go through and how I am with my mom and how I get upset and stuff. And that's the reason why. Because
losing a parent ain't no joke. Losing a parent ain't no joke. And then losing my dad, and then months later losing my grandma.
Mm-hmm.
Hard.
Yeah,
It
that's
was
a lot.
hardest thing in the world, y'all. It was the hardest thing.
Mm-hmm.
The hardest
Mm-hmm.
thing. I tell y'all, I felt like my mom and my grandma
Mm-hmm.
were my biggest cheerleaders in my life.
Yeah.
And losing them,
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
You know,
Wow.
so
But you know
I-
what, T-Man, I have to commend you. You know, you had that love. You had that love from both your
yeah,
parents. You know what I'm saying? You had that. And I really believe that the reasoning behind your dad not telling you about his weakness, I'm going to say it as his weakness, okay, is because probably didn't want you to see him in that light. You understand what I mean? He loves you. He loved you. He did not want you to see him as your dad in that light of a a drug user. Or
but
you
you
know what
have
I'm
to,
saying? So
but
you gotta try and look at it from that perspective.
but you have to
At least
also
you
look
had
at
that.
it goes back to what I always say. Y'all parents, you and Vicky in the same generation, same. Y'all are so fucking stubborn.
Okay.
Y'all parents think y'all know everything. Y'all parents don't want to hear half of the things y'all children got to say. But I need y'all to understand y'all got to listen to y'all children, because if y'all drop dead tomorrow, this is the kind of hurt y'all leave y'all children.
Mm-hmm.
This is what y'all leave y'all children years later,
Mm-hmm.
still grieving. It's been 13 years,
Mm-hmm.
still grieving when y'all don't listen.
I understand. I do listen to mine. Don't I listen to y'all, Jordan?
Listen to your
You
children.
think I listen to you? Huh?
Cedric, I'm gonna say this, and before I say it, I want to read this. Ava Shawn says, "I needed to hear this. My son lost his father, and he's an only child. Thank you
Mm-hmm.
for your transparency."
Mm-hmm.
That's to you, Cedric.
Mm-hmm.
Ava
Mm-hmm.
Shawn, thank you so much for that.
Thank you for
Those
that.
words of
Yeah.
support.
Yeah.
I want to say
But
this to you, Cedric. You are
I love you.
absolutely right. I'm stubborn. I am
Mm-hmm.
very, very stubborn.
Me too.
I, as a parent, and Maria, maybe you'll understand this with me. The reason why we keep certain things from you is not just to keep you guys in the dark, but
It's to
most of the
protect
time it's
them.
to protect
To
you.
protect them. That's right.
But we are unaware that we're not thinking that tomorrow may not come.
Mm-hmm.
We're
No, we
not
don't think of
thinking
that.
that. As a
Yeah.
parent, all we're thinking about is the here and now and how I need to protect you. There was a
Mm-hmm.
time I was very sick,
Mm-hmm.
and my oldest daughter lives in a totally different state, just like you.
Mm-hmm.
And the little one lives here. She went to the doctor. She said, "Oh no, I'm going to the doctor with you because I want to find out what's going on with you. I want to know why you keep going to the doctor every
Mm-hmm.
week." And my daughter and her used to have these conversations on the side, my two girls, and they're like, "What you think wrong with mom? Like, why mom keep going to the doctor?" And then she finally called me like, "Mom, I need to know why you keep going to the doctor. Like, what's going on? You
Mm-hmm.
dying or something?" And I'm like, "No, baby." I'm like, "No, I'm going to the doctor because I want to make sure that before I sit down and talk to y'all about my situation,
Mm-hmm.
Thaddeus, you knew what happened with me. You knew what I went through. And I did tell my kids, but I
Mm-hmm.
didn't want to tell them until I got that final
That
diagnosis.
clarification. Right. Right.
So
Right.
one of the reasons I didn't want to tell them that is because I didn't want them to go through everyday
Everything.
life
Mm-hmm.
thinking, "Oh, my
Yes.
mama's gonna die. My mama's gonna." I wanted them to
Right.
live.
Right.
We do that to
Right.
protect our kids. And
Right. To
are we
protect.
right?
That's right.
Absolutely
To
not.
protect.
We're not right.
No, you're not right.
But we as parents, and
Mm-hmm.
when you become a parent, you're gonna see, "Oh, this what Vicky and Maria tried to tell
That's
me."
it. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. See, for me, I, like I said, I was the grudge holder. I could hold a grudge and like it's no tomorrow. You understand what I'm saying? Because I felt that I had been hurt so much throughout my life, throughout growing up, so many different things. I mean, if it wasn't one thing, it was another, it was another, it was another. It's like, Lord, I know you got somebody else that you could, deal with. You know what I'm saying? So for me, and I'm gonna tell you, when my mom came to stay with me, I didn't even want her to come here, but I didn't have no choice. So my wife was like, okay, you got to do this. You got to, let me think about it. I wasn't really feeling it. But the only thing, because of my grudge and because of my anger, I literally told her, the only thing that you've ever done for me in all my life was show me the mother not to be.
Wow.
Those are my words. You showed me what type of mother not to be. So everything that she was, I tried to my hardest to not be that to my kids. You know what I'm saying? I'm close with my kids. You could have thought I was smothering, suffocating my kids, because it's like, no, I ain't letting nobody do this. I ain't letting nobody do that. But I had to come to reality and realize that, my kids have to, when I sit down and talk to them about certain things as to why, like, Mom, why you act like that towards Day? Why you did? Because I didn't really talk about it a lot.
Right.
I really didn't talk about it. This is the most I've ever spoken about it. And I'm surprised, because there's so much that has been inside of me. But T-Man, for just from me to you, it's like I would, if I had that with my dad and with my mother particularly, I would have, I can understand where you're coming from, especially being an only child. But it's so much that you want from your parents. It's like, but for me, it was like, why you didn't love me? What was it about me that you did not like, that you just had to throw me away? And then and then it's years that I find out who you are. That's nothing new to anybody that's close to me. They know my situation with my mom. I wish I could have had a good relationship with her. I really do. I wish I could have had a good, decent mother-daughter relationship with her. And that's something that, and that's something although she's deceased, it's like I'm holding anger towards somebody who's not even here anymore. She don't even know how mad I am. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you hold on to something when they're not even here. And it's like, how do you let that go? How do you move on to the next level of thinking? You know what I'm saying? Because when there's so much hurt and you don't have the avenues, that you don't know about the avenues. You're not privy to the avenues that you could take to relieve some of that hurt, to relieve some of that pain. And a lot of times that's what we turn to drugs. We turn to being promiscuous. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like you had so much with your dad as far as him loving you. That is something, and we don't see how some people have things that we don't have, and we think it's not enough, but yet it's more than what the person sitting next to you got. You understand what I'm saying? Do you understand what I mean when I say that? It's like I would be envious of people who had their parents, if not one, both of them. And that's why I always say I'm so clingy to the family that I'm a part of now. You understand what I'm saying? Because of how big they are, how they are with each other, how the sisters are, how they are. That is just something that I've always wanted. And I'm so very clingy to that.
So let me ask you this question, Maria. Let me ask you this question. The fact that you are, and Vicky, for you as well, you all have adult children. Okay. And holding on to, like Maria, you as example, you're still holding on to, the things that Myra had done and everything, and you now have adult children. Let's say Maria do something, and years from now, Jordan and David is holding on to some trauma from Maria. How would you feel?
I would not understand it. I would not understand them holding on to it because of the relationship that I have with my kids. My kids can come to me and tell me anything. And it's going to be between me and him.
Stop right there. They can come to you and tell you anything, but are you open to listening?
Yes, absolutely.
I'm not. I'm not.
Absolutely.
That's the point. I'm glad you said that, Vicky. I am so glad you said that, because as parents never want to be criticized.
Nope.
No.
I'm not listening to all of that bullshit. I don't.
No, I am.
And my kids know.
I totally
I'm just
am.
not.
I totally am, because I didn't have anybody in my life growing up that I could be open to. So that, like I said, if everything that my mother didn't do for me as a mother and so forth, it's like I try my hardest not to be that same person. I'm just the opposite of her. So yes, if my
So
kids
Maria,
came
let me
into
ask you
something,
Maria, hold on one second. Vicky, let me ask you this question. Now, why wouldn't you be open to listening to your children, your adult
because
children?
it's just some things that, I mean, I'll listen to them, but a lot of times I'm like this. I'm your mother. You ain't gonna sit here and give me the third degree about certain things. Okay. I will listen, but am I open to most of the conversation? Sometimes I tune most of it out because I feel like I'm the parent. I'm the parent. Okay. If it hadn't been for me, you wouldn't be where you at right now. You wouldn't have made it in life this far, but it's just some conversations that my kids like to have with me that I'm not ready to have. I mean,
well, I
it's
can
just,
understand that. I can
it's
understand
just,
that.
I mean,
And so
and
can I tell you this, friend? Can I tell you this,
go ahead.
Rashawn? I mean, Vicky.
Go ahead.
That's where you're going wrong.
I know, and I admit that.
I'm trying not to
I
cry.
totally admit it.
Friend.
I'm trying not to cry.
Admit it.
Because
We
it's
about
just a lot.
I need both of y'all to hear this.
I'm trying not to cry.
I need both of y'all to hear this.
Maria, don't do it because you're gonna have me do it. Fix me another
Please,
room.
as parents, be open to difficult conversations from your children.
I can tell you that I am. My kids, Jordan, David, they can come to me with anything. They can come to me with anything. I am not going to judge my kids or anything because, like I said, I have it so instilled in my brain. I've instilled it in my brain that I am not going to be that parent that my mother was. It's like
they can come to you about anything about them, but can they come to you with anything about you?
Oh yes, trust me. My oldest,
my kids, no.
My
no,
oldest
ma'am.
will.
No, ma'am.
My oldest will. Now we will bump heads.
Yeah, but that's different though. All
me and him will bump heads now.
But hold on, Vicky. You heard what she said. She heard what she said. We will bump heads.
We will bump heads.
Yeah. You ain't listening.
I heard that. No, I heard that.
Not in that perspective.
Okay. Listen, let me just hold on a second. I'm gonna go back to that. Ava Shawn is asking you, Thadric, have you considered therapy?
I'm in therapy.
You are in therapy about your father, and you're still holding this resentment from 13 years ago.
Because it's.
Friend, I'm gonna need you to change therapists. Check with the insurance company. We gotta get through this.
It's okay. Go ahead.
We gotta get past this, friend. We're gonna talk about this offset.
It's hard. It's easier said than done, though.
I need you to get past this resentment of your father, because that resentment that you're holding from why or what caused his passing is hindering you from fully absorbing the good, all of the good. Like you remember those good things, but you remember the bad things. And I think that is not, I think your resentment towards him not telling you that, he had a drug problem, maybe that is holding you back. And until you're able to grasp, he can't tell you everything. Auntie Irma says, please, nephew, I agree with Vicky. Christine Lachey King says, whew, this is good stuff. Thank you so much for that, Christine. We're trying to keep on bringing stuff. Ava Shawn says, no, it's no time. It's no time frame, Vicky Horton. She telling me there's no time frame. 13 years is too long, friend. 13 to hold on to that resentment to somebody who's no longer here. I made peace with my mama before she left.
But Vicky, we're two different people.
I know.
Only child.
Right.
I was my mama's worst
me too.
child.
Me too.
I was my mama's worst child.
Me too. I can't, like, I'll be 60 in November, and my anger and my I've been holding on to this for a long time.
And then you have to also realize that look how much time I lost out on. My father wasn't a part of the first part of my life. You understand what I'm saying? It was my mama was my daddy. My oldest was my daddy. You know, my mama gave me my mama was a good mama. My grandma was a good mama. It's just like, but again, when my father came into my life as a teenager, it's like, oh wow, I got this man figure in my life or whatever.
Mhm.
Let me cherish this time. And then also keeping in mind, even when he came in my life, he still left my life because he was still in the streets and he went back to jail for a little while, or, he went into a rehab place for a little while and things like that. But it was just like, oh, that's my dad. That's my dad. I want my dad around. I'm excited to be with my dad, this, that, and the other stuff. And it was just like, wherever he was at, I'm going to see him.
Let me say this to you, friend.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not trying to justify your father being on drugs. And I can't help, the way you feel and the resentment you have towards him. But let me tell you something. Being on drugs back then, it's different than it is now.
Different. It was different.
That stuff had you literally in a chokehold.
Yeah, it was definitely different.
Okay. Especially when crack came on the scene. The crack they smoked then ain't like the crack they smoking now. That crack,
totally
that
different.
pipe back then, baby.
Yeah.
Your dad probably, maybe he was embarrassed by it. Maybe he was ashamed. He didn't want you to see him.
Right. That's why I was asking you.
I seem to think he was trying to protect
you.
See, I'm glad you said it, because that's the problem. It's like, how could you be embarrassed about me knowing about you being on drugs, but you sold drugs, you've been in and out of jail, you've been shot 12 times. Were you not embarrassed about that?
But see, that was him.
Lord, I have sat up in my bed. This finale is good.
Who said that?
That's not something that affects you. And
thank you, Sean. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Thank you so much for watching.
But you understand my point. It's just like,
I totally get it.
I totally understand.
I totally understand it.
I totally understand it. Me too.
Like I said, that resentment, you have to, don't just look at he didn't tell you. Look at the many reasons why he may not have told you. He could. People, listen, it's a lot of people. We talked about the pastors earlier. The pastors are ashamed that they was out there on drugs. They was ashamed that they was in prison. They don't get up there and preach about that kind of stuff. They'll sit there and act like they holier than thou.
Girl, my mama get on my nerves. She's talking about, good evening, my beautiful family. I am the mother.
Yes, we know, babe.
We know, Mom.
We know, babe.
Comments.
Okay, now put a stamp on it, doggone it. Put your stamp on it, babe.
Okay, so Angie Todd has joined us. Angie says, baby, this deep. I can honestly say I have apologized to my kids, and it feels great, and it's healing me. I apologize to my baby for things from the womb of wanting to abort her. My God, Angie, Jesus. Whew.
Jesus.
I release and apologize. I heal, and I feel even if they felt it wasn't needed, at least they know Mama is transparent and real. Angie, I commend you.
Okay. Yes, Angie.
She wanted to abort.
Yes.
Look at Auntie Irma comment, Vicky.
Auntie Irma, so my part 2 coming. This was Healthy Conversation. Auntie Irma, thank you all. Thank you. Thank everybody for watching. This is what we wanted in our finale with tonight. We wanted to end it with some deep conversations.
And you know what? It is conversations that we don't have.
And it's conversations that we don't have.
We don't have.
And the thing is, we need to, as a people, we need to. We had Mia J on telling her truth.
Exactly.
Talking about the challenges of being, transgender and in the churches. Shout out to her pastor, Pastor Powell. The gay community, the alphabet community needs somewhere to go and get praise. They gotta stand in front of God on judgment day.
Yeah, exactly.
God can't speak for these people. They can't speak for us. They can't speak for us. I don't know what's gonna happen to me when I part this earth, but I can tell you this: I'm gonna enjoy me a man, and occasionally I'm gonna enjoy me a woman before I leave. And I'm just being real.
What's gonna make me happy? That's right.
That's it. That's it. We have to be happy while we're here. We don't know what's gonna happen in the afterlife. We don't know.
And we don't know when we're leaving this earth, because there's so many that's leaving here. 2024 has taken so many people from us that
and you know what? I'm not gonna. I hate to get off topic with this, but I mean, everybody listen to Corey Bowie, and when he always jump on there. I don't know who needs to hear this, but Corey said something. 2 things he said the other day. and it got my attention. And I said, wow, it was deep, because he said, I don't know who need to hear this, but he said, number one, he said, y'all young fellas, y'all need to get y'all lives together. Y'all mama shouldn't be burying y'all. Y'all should be burying your mom. That's number one. Number two, he said, get yourself together. He said, dying from a car accident, not in these words now, but basically car accidents are becoming the normal way for people to die. That's deep.
Wow.
That is very, very deep. Hey, Josh. Josh says, good job, y'all. Thank you so much for joining us. Angie says, this is an amazing conversation and it's needed in our Black community.
Yes.
It really is. Thank you so much for that, Angie. It is needed.
Yeah.
And we
look,
need
it helps
more
us.
people to get together
That's right.
and come together on a platform.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be Deliberate Discussions platform, but it could be on anyone's platform. And we need to discuss these issues that are not talked about. We finally got over the hump of mental health in the Black communities. It's now open and discussed more.
Right.
Yeah, I know that we are way over time, but I'm fine. We can continue to go on. But ask anybody in your comments if they want to come up and add to this conversation. If anybody is listening on my live stream, if you want to come up and join this conversation, we're more than happy to welcome you up to add to the conversation. This is what this is all about. You know, having these type of conversations. So you want to come up, just send us a message, and I'll send you the link to your email, and we can go from there.
Yes, if you want to join Deliberate Discussions, this topic, we have a few more minutes. We might as well go 2 hours tonight, friend.
I ain't got nothing to do, Josh.
I'm loving the conversation. I'm loving the feedback. If anybody who's viewing this would like to come on camera, you don't even have to come on camera. You can just log in, put your initials or whatever. You don't have to be seen. But this is a conversation that we must have. And if you would like to join the discussion, please text or message, inbox your email address to 561-325-1488, and we will send you the link to join this live stream right now.
You know what's crazy? You know what is so I don't want to call
your husband said you got to call him.
But all that we've been speaking on tonight.
Oh, you ain't talking about me, John?
It affects our mental health, and we don't even realize it.
It does.
It affects us mentally.
And that's what I'm saying, Maria. We've gotten in the Black community, we've gotten over the hump of discussing mental health. But now, listen to my friend tonight.
It's so much.
This has opened up a whole different.
Yes.
This has opened up something totally different, because we need to get beyond resentment of parents, and even parents that are still here. But I want my friend to remember all the good that his dad did. You know, he wasn't there, but we can't go back and change that.
Right.
So what he did.
It's one thing that you say. It's one thing that you said that I think that, and I'm glad that you said it. We do need to get over XYZ, but it takes two.
It does. But your dad ain't here, baby.
But I understand my dad's not here. But we have to also understand when people have two parents, but they also may have a parent that's still here. When something may be going on between the two of you, it takes two to come together. It takes two to get an understanding. It takes two to be accountable. It takes two to listen.
You're true. That's true. I mean, I get along with my baby daddies.
Now, but again,
I love my baby daddies.
That goes back to what I said to you and Maria as parents. Y'all have to stop being so stubborn.
And you're absolutely right. You are absolutely right.
Okay.
But that little one, I be wanting to put her in a chokehold because that mouth of hers
but
is
see,
just so reckless.
We can't not be stubborn.
Okay, wait a minute. We got somebody. I'm sending you the link now. Hold on a minute.
We can't say we got to stop being stubborn, because a lot of times my stubbornness is the only thing that held me back from slinging one of these fools across the room. You understand what I'm saying? Now that oldest one, he already know. When he was younger, I had to sling his behind, let him know I'm your mama. You understand what I'm saying? I didn't really have to do that with my youngest one. So, you know what I'm saying? He was scared of a whooping. That oldest one,
But see, that's what I was saying. See, you have that.
We try to be strong.
I have.
We try to be strong.
And I know I should probably be open to more conversation like Thaddeus says, but it's just that sometimes there's certain things as a parent that I don't feel my kids should be privy to,
Privy
you
to,
know, as
uh-huh.
far as digging into my lifetime, in my
Right.
lifestyle, or what I got going on. Now, if it's
Mhm.
like I said, with the issue of my medical condition, that right there, I just wanted to be certain. I called Fadrick because listen, Fadrick holds the key to everything in my entire life.
Mm.
So, like I tell my kids, if y'all need to
Me
know
too.
passwords, anything, just call Uncle Fadrick because he got it all.
Mhm.
Okay, I can talk to Fadrick about anything. There's less than a handful of people that knew what was going on with me medically, and he knew because I had to tell him. I didn't know how I was going to tell my children if my diagnosis had gone the other way.
Different way.
You
Right.
know, so I
Mhm.
needed him to help me, you know, build up the courage. Like, well, Vicky, what is going to happen
Yeah.
if this, or Vicky, what's going to happen if
Mhm.
that? You know, and then
Sure.
finally, I
Yeah.
did get the diagnosis, and I even went through my treatment and didn't tell my children
Uh-huh.
that I was going through treatment.
Mhm.
But when I got cleared from treatment, I don't want to hear, hey, baby, hey, auntie, baby.
He like, he came down the stairs like, damn, y'all ain't done yet.
Look how he's looking though.
Y'all better leave little man
Okay,
alone
but
now.
why he gotta look at us like that?
Little man know when it's time to go on his walk.
It's time to go upstairs and go to bed.
For real, you see how he just sitting there looking like,
Oh my
okay, y'all
gosh.
ain't done yet.
Little man
Oh
looking
my
like, what the
gosh.
problem is? Because I'm ready to go. Okay.
Look. Well, you know what? I have to say this. I want to say this, that when I was talking with T-Man earlier, and you know, but I talked to T-Man about a lot of stuff. I talked to him about a lot of stuff. He's somebody that can
I'm telling you,
I
he
can
need to be
throw
out
some
there.
things off on him, and he's going to tell me exactly. You know what I'm saying? I might not like some of it, but I respect it and appreciate it because I did go to him. You understand what I'm saying? So, I try not to be, you know, this hard mom where my kids got to be afraid to talk to me. I never wanted that, and I hope that never happens. My kids are grown now,
Yeah.
but from
Maria, hold on. Wait, listen. When you have a strong head and your child is the same as yourself, it's so damn hard.
Yes, it is.
Who said that?
Rashawn Parker.
Rashawn Parker.
I can't see what she's saying. Get over here, baby mama.
Listen.
Don't come on here with that.
Listen, she love that boy to death, y'all. Listen,
She do.
but they
She
just
do.
alike. I tell her that all the
Listen,
time.
I think if I did something wrong to her, she'll fight me.
Okay.
Listen.
She will. She
She
loves that
coming
boy.
now.
She
gonna come knock on the door. Believe that. She coming to knock on the door. Believe that.
She will do it.
But that is who she is.
I don't mess with Sean Parker. Kid.
No. I totally appreciate how she is with me. I love her to death, and I'm so thankful that our paths did cross the way that it did.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes it's like you never know what you need until you actually have it.
Yep,
does that make sense to you? You don't know what you need until you actually have it. And by my lack of having a family growing up, my lack of not knowing so many things growing up, I'm gonna tell y'all something which is just crazy. Like I said, I grew up in church, right? And the listen to me, the foster family that raised me, the heirs, they were just wonderful. My grandmother was a member of the same church that my foster family was, and I didn't even know she was my grandmother till I was about 8 years old. And I would see her 3 times a week. On Saturday when they have choir rehearsal, Wednesday Bible study, Sunday at church. I did not know that. So growing up, it's like I just always felt that there was nobody that could love me for me. And it was hard. It was absolutely hard. And I had no one to bounce that off, like to talk to about that. But after all the years that it took me with all the hatred and anger, my wife was the only real person that I had actually sat down and, you know, opened my heart up to and told different things that, you know, about my past and everything. And the fact that I was still accepted, you know what I'm saying? Because I was looking for the rejection. You know what I'm saying? But I did not get that rejection. I didn't get that. I didn't get that from her. So that is something we don't know who is there for us unless we speak up. You know what I'm saying? We don't know. We don't know.
Angie says, I'm gonna say this for myself. I had to first fix me, meaning I had to realize I had issues. I had resentment. I had childhood trauma. I need the little girl so that eventually the woman could show up. My goodness, I like that.
Now that's saying a lot.
Once I began to use EAP services, if anybody don't know what that means, Employee Assistance Program, better health, and work on me, I then began to be able to accept anything my kids could or would say to me, because even if I didn't feel it was true, it was their truth. And she put that in all caps with an exclamation point. So I mean, I totally have to get to that point, Angie. I have to get to that point. I think I'm so stubborn. Like Daddy said, I am so freaking stubborn. My kids, I hung up on my children the night before the show, and they called me back on FaceTime and told me, "Mom, that was so rude. You hung up." I hung up again.
Oh my
and
God.
It was all because they went to get something to eat and wouldn't bring me a shrimp quick. But you see what I'm saying? But I was mad. I was mad. And it sounds so petty. It sounds so petty. But I'm just so stuck in my ways.
Yeah.
And Cedric, I really believe that your dad may have been embarrassed.
Yep. I think he was protecting her.
He was not on drugs when he came to you and wanted to mend your relationship. So he probably was embarrassed about that. He wanted to protect you because he didn't want you to see. I think, and this is my opinion, I think he didn't want you to see him in that light. I think he wanted you to see him in the here and now. That's what he wanted you to remember. He wanted to protect you.
He was protecting you.
And I, as a parent, I would agree with that.
I totally agree.
We'll never know, but if you can just get yourself to feel that way and think that way, I think you can get beyond that resentment. I think you can, friend. And we're here to help you, Maria.
Exactly.
We're here. I mean, we're here for you.
Absolutely. You are not alone. You are not alone.
We love you, friend. I love you so much.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Love you too, son.
I love you so very much.
I appreciate that.
Okay, so is Laminthia coming on?
I sent her a link, but she didn't reply. Laminthia, also, I don't know if you're still listening, but I sent you the link to your email that you provided, but also check your junk mail, your spam, to make sure they go to that if you didn't get it in your inbox.
Yeah.
When the little girl heals, the woman shows up. I'm thankful. I'm healing.
Thankful, Lord.
You hear that, Patrick?
Oh, that's
yes. Oh my gosh.
When the little girl heals, the woman shows up. So when the little boy heals, the man
shows up. Yep.
Thank you so much for that, Angie. Angie is like an angel.
Angie.
You know, it's like I said, it's people that be here on earth, and y'all don't. A lot of people don't believe this, but I believe real angels walk the earth, and God used these people.
Oh yeah.
And I tell Angie that all the time. Like when I step out of line, now Angie, give me that rod of correction. Take it down. Don't say that.
Which Angie is that?
Huh?
Which Angie is that?
Angie Todd.
Angie Todd.
Oh, Angie Todd.
I told Angie plenty of times. Angie's one of these angels, honey. And people, I really believe angels walk the earth, and God used them. And I think Angie is one of God's angels. You know, I mean, don't get it twisted. She still probably put her foot in somebody behind. But hey, I mean.
Well, I will say, I mean, I really appreciate this conversation tonight. I mean, I've gotten so much from this conversation. And
yes, me too.
I really did. Thank you all so much.
Yeah, it's been a lot, but I'm glad that we had this conversation. And this is something that us as
Angie says to you that you have such an amazing spirit, and that resentment can't reside in you. I pray for your healing. Didn't I tell you? Didn't I tell you she like an angel? Didn't I tell you? You gotta let that go, friend. You gotta let it go, and we're here for it.
Yeah, we're here for all of it.
Auntie Irma, thank you so much for joining us. We have Frederick and his husband have birthdays coming up in August. We're gonna go ahead and take
October.
I mean, in October. I was in August. My bad. My bad. Josh party is this weekend. I'm sorry, the 5th.
October 5th.
I was hoping that I could be there. Unfortunately, I cannot. We don't know where we're coming back because the Parkers are going to be partying in Chicago, and then they're going to be off cruising. And friend, don't worry, I got the hookup in case y'all missed the boat.
Oh my God, y'all look who appeared. Oh my God, look.
What?
My daddy just appeared on the screen.
No, for
See
real.
what I told you? What did I tell you?
T-Man.
See what I'm saying? Angie did that.
Those are the angels looking over you, T-Man.
Oh my God.
Angie did that to me. She still got her big toe in the streets.
Ah.
What I just said? I just said Angie is one of them angels. Now look, Angie done spoke to God, and God is
Listen.
daddy now. So
I
that's
have
your
these
confirmation,
pictures.
friend.
I have
Wow.
these pictures shuffling in the Alexa, and
That's your confirmation, friend.
Yes.
That is your
Oh my
confirmation.
gosh, T-Man.
Wow.
Look at God.
Wow. Look at God.
Look at God. You and
He
your
is
daddy
awesome.
shows up on the screen.
Mm.
Wow, that's amazing.
My God. So listen, this has, like I said, I don't know when we're gonna come back after Thadric and Josh get done on their cruise. We might be back before Thanksgiving, or we're gonna come back after the elections. Friend, I'm throwing it out there. Like, when are we coming back? I don't know. We still have so many topics we have to discuss. We've deliberated on so much stuff. If there's anything that you all would like to talk about here on Deliberate Discussions, we welcome you to come on the show. Please text me 561-325-1488, or you can send an email to deliberategdiscussions@gmail.com, or you can inbox myself, Thadric, or the Deliberate Discussions page. We are trying to get away from our personal Facebook pages and trying to filter everything through the Deliberate Discussions page. Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Thank you all so very much.
Hold on, Ricky. Wait a minute. We got somebody that popped in the studio. Hey, Lamisha.
Oh, hey, girl.
Del Ray.
Look,
Del Ray.
where you been, girl?
Del Ray Beach.
Hey.
Y'all got me sitting in my car thinking about Del Ray, Vicky, Good, Thadric. You know I'm
Thank
part
you,
of your
baby, you
family.
too.
Thank you.
I can't remember. I'm trying to remember the other lady.
Maria?
I don't know if she
Maria
remember
not
me.
from Delray.
I've been here 35
She
years,
moved to Delray.
but I'm not from Delray.
Oh, where you been there since before I left?
Yeah.
I've been here. I've been here since '87.
Girl, I've been listening. I've been listening to y'all's show. I'm up here in Daytona Beach, Florida.
Oh wow!
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Lamisha. And thank you for coming on.
Yes.
Let me tell y'all, y'all look good.
Thank you.
I
You do too.
like the profile. You know what? Del Ray sets the tone for a lot of people. Good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yes. Come on.
We all have matured, but I got a lot of pain in Del Ray too.
Yes.
Yes.
I suffer from a lot of bad memories, and I ain't sugarcoat nothing. I ain't shame or nothing.
Hey.
And you know, we was all in the streets, and we was trying to raise children. And baby daddies. I didn't have my daddy. I had a daddy, but he was in Memphis, Tennessee. I didn't know who my real daddy was till I came to Florida. Wilbur Cheney. I had to take a blood test. It hurts because I grew up without a daddy. My mama on knife. Everybody know Gloria, my mama.
Yeah.
A lot of people took me in. You know, Miss Parker. I never forget. That lady took me and my family in.
Yeah.
You know, because I was dating her grandson.
You know how
Yeah,
my
I knew
grandma,
you was gonna throw that out there, girl.
I sure was.
you know how my grandma was. She took in everybody here.
Yes,
Look,
she
Cynthia,
did.
we hung out on 9th Avenue, didn't we, baby?
Yes, we did.
I
Cedric,
walked down
you
there by
brung
the apartments, honey. We going up there to the Paradise to get us a Parker
yes.
from Mr. Parker.
Cedric, you brung tears to my eyes about fathers, daughters, fatherless. I got a bunch of baby daddies too. Shit.
Wow, hold on one second. Okay, so Letitia Myrtle, she's from Boynton. She says, "Count it all joy. You're still here. I'm 49 and still don't know who my biological father is." Wow, Letitia, 40 and you, oh wow. I'm
Yeah.
so sorry. I mean, I can't imagine not knowing my daddy. I can't imagine. So that's more confirmation for you, my friend. You know, you gotta get. I want you. I ain't gonna tell you got to, friend. I love you so much. I want you to get past your resentment. And if you don't feel like that was confirmation that your daddy popped up on that screen at that very moment, it made you smile. It definitely did. Daddy trying to tell you something. He trying to tell you something. I just need you to try and get past that so that you can remember all the good times that you and your dad shared before he departed this world.
Mhm.
Because he brought you that laughter. He just brought it to you just now. Look at you. You about to smile now. Go ahead, friend. Go ahead.
Okay. I want to say one thing, and I ain't gonna hold this show up.
Go
But
ahead.
let me tell you something. My daddy been lingering around there. He's very popular. Everybody know who my daddy is. Wilbur Cheney. But here's what the hurting part was. And I want to share this real quick. And I know I'm gonna get some backlashes because I get it. But this was been on my mind. And Cedric, you made me open up, and I was dying to get on this show. My daddy, when my grandma Velma Cheney knew that I was her grandchild, my daddy, he accepted me. But when my son got killed back in Delray, I was looking for my daddy. I was looking for my daddy to say it's gonna be all right. I was looking for my daddy to tell me. He said it gonna be all right, but my daddy wasn't there. I ain't have my daddy. And he knew that, my son. But his sisters, and it hurted me so bad because on that street, it's family members that knew my daddy. And I don't know if it was true. I don't know what the rumor was. I didn't know, was he ashamed of me at this time? But when my grandma was alive, I was his daughter. But my daddy told me that he didn't believe that I was his. After I was 40-some years old, I had to take a DNA test.
Oh my God.
What?
I'm so sorry, love.
So, but I still love him. I told him I love him because I'm able to do it. I was able to tell him I love him. My daddy don't, I still feel that he don't accept me.
You took a
Even
DNA
though,
test in your 40s for your dad?
yes, ma'am. Yes,
Jesus.
ma'am.
See, I'm so stubborn. I would have told my daddy, you done lost your damn mind.
And I did not disrespect him. I did not disrespect him. Cause see, God told me that out of all the children, out of all his children, I knew my grandmother. My grandmother knew that I was his. But what hurts me, because my daddy right there in Delray, and he acknowledged the other children, the ones, because I'm the bastard. And the other ones, he was married to their mother. And I got a sister in Atlanta. He wasn't married to her mother. And we kind of communicate. But she said something to me. She said she kind of resent the other ones because they are able to acknowledge, and he's acknowledging them. He don't acknowledge me too much, but people know that he's my dad. but
Mhm.
just getting that feeling. He's still here. He 80 some years old, y'all. And I'm holding on. And I went to his office. I come and see him. And but to like get invited to the house or to do things, mm-mm. I went to my first family reunion and I was looking. It was just a coincidence that my daddy wasn't going to that one in
Mhm.
Tampa. He'd been to all the other ones, but
Mhm.
this one, and I had all my grandchildren, but I let my children know who they sisters is on my daddy's side. Cause if they ever have children, I don't want my grandchildren messing around with they got them,
That
aunties
right there.
or
Right.
that part.
So let me ask you this
They
question, Amisha. So, at being the fact that you were in your 40s and you took this DNA test and it came back that you were indeed his child, how did that make you feel?
I cried like a baby.
What?
I
It,
cried and it still hurts, but I wanted to know the truth before I left this earth. I wanted to know the truth before for my dad. You
But in
know,
your heart, you knew the truth, right? Because you believe your grandmother told you.
I well, yeah, and I believe, but then I started feeling some type of way.
Okay,
But
so
my aunt, I started feeling some type of way.
I know we way over time.
I know.
I just gotta know. Does it really matter who if a man raised you or a woman raised you? Does it really matter who your biological dad is at 40? Like
Yes,
me personally,
it
I commend you.
I
I
think it.
do.
I
I
think it
can't
it
does.
do
do.
it.
I think it does. I think it
You think
does.
it does?
It
I
does.
do think it does.
I can't. I don't think I could do it.
Yeah,
I
I do
I
couldn't
think it
do
does.
it.
I you know what? And I won't. I got my sister now. My sister, my baby sister in
Ooh.
Memphis. It's the opposite.
Hmm.
She wonders. Her and my mom don't get along
Hmm.
because she felt that my mom shouldn't have gave her away, and she didn't give her away. She's with her dad. My
Hmm.
mom and my stepdad was married. So when we came to Delray Beach, I mean, well, my sister Cynthia was already here.
Yeah, I remember when
Oh,
you came.
Hmm.
and so we came here, and my mom got me and Cynthia together, but left my little sister up with her daddy. My little sister does not like my mom.
Hmm.
And I
Mm,
said, you had your mom and your dad, but you was caught up between a stepmother and
mhm.
your real dad that at the time, oh, you're not gonna see your mama. I'm your mama. She had to deal with that. So now I believe in forgiving. My sister won't forgive my mom, but she
Hmm.
had her
Wow.
mom and dad. So dad, this to you, close. You're not the only one, but in my heart, because God told me that I had to forgive my dad, because
Mhm.
even when my aunts told me, now that you know the truth, where do you go at from here? Well, now that I know the truth, I grasp on to all what I have. I love my family now that I know who I am. See, I had to
Okay.
know who I am, and I didn't know who I was. And so, given that, given what I'm saying, is that we have to forgive in order to move forward, to release. I was released. All that hurt, that pain, that anger, I am released from the pain that I suffered
Mm.
for almost 50 years. I'm going to
Wow,
say 50.
I received that, and I thank you so much for sharing that
Yeah.
story.
Let me just read. Letitia Myrtle wrote on here. Honestly,
Thank you so much.
this right here,
Love.
these three last three comments that from Letitia Myrtle, these really took me out. Like I can't believe what I'm reading. She says, I took a DNA test in my mid 30s because my grandmother told me, and y'all brace yourself because y'all know this name, Digi Ford, father, Herschel Ford, was my father, which is my mother's sister's husband.
Oh
So
my.
just imagine all the hurt I've gone through believing that my uncle by marriage was my father.
Oh my God.
Gee, you know the Fords that live over there in Carver Park.
Jesus Christ.
Honestly, you want to know for closure, no matter how old you are, it's the fact that you want acceptance from your dad and for him to acknowledge his daughter. Okay, I get
Yes.
that. And say, I'm proud of you. Most Black fathers ain't going to say, I'm proud of you. It
Ain't gonna say
sucks
it.
because my mom was never there. My mom was never there either. And we were adopted by my grandmother, which is very common back then. Then Angie says, I have learned to look at many things with the spiritual eye. Thadric, look how much you have accomplished, the known and the unknown to others. Imagine
Yes.
your father being present in his drug state and what that could possibly hinder the purpose that's in you. Sometimes those absences could very well been a protection of your purpose.
Mm.
And
That's
on that
well
note,
said.
I thank everybody so much. This has been a 2-hour conversation. We did not expect our season finale to go out like this, but I'm getting choked up just sitting here thinking about all of these comments. And we definitely will be revisiting this subject again in our next season, whenever we return, whether it's November, December.
Okay.
Lamentia, it
Thank
was
you
good
so
to
much,
see you, my
Olympia.
friend. I love you.
I
I
know.
love you
You
so
are
much.
still
Thank you
beautiful,
so
baby.
much.
Derry all the way, Letitia Myrtle, Angie Todd, Auntie Lizzie, Auntie Irma, Maria, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Mia J, thank you so much for standing in your truth. Thank you all so much for joining us here tonight. We love you guys so very much. And it's because of you that Thadric and I, we continue to do what we do here on Deliberate Discussions. We never know who's watching until y'all make a comment. But this conversation
Okay.
is a much needed conversation in the Black community. And
Yes.
we have so much work to do. And
Yes,
we
we
will
do.
continue to do this, Thadric and I. And if you want to come in and join us, we're all open to it. Again,
All
our
right.
email address, deliberatenediscussions@gmail.com. You can reach us at 561-325-1488, or you can inbox Deliberate Discussions on Facebook Live. Thank you all so very much for joining us. Thadric, any last words?
I want to just, first of all, Lamisha, thank you so much. I mean, Lamenthia, coming up for those words. I receive them. I thank you so much. Like Vicky said, you never know who's watching this show. Maria, it means the world to me that you came to be a part of this show tonight. Mia, I love you, sister. I mean, and you living in your truth and telling your story just means so much. And we have so much work to do.
Oh, yeah.
So much fight in us for us, you know. Who would have known that Vicky and I will be on season 6 of Deliberate Discussions, ending season 6 of Deliberate Discussions?
Okay.
Who would have known a simple conversation when my friend was in the most lowest and darkest point in her life
Ooh.
would have
Oh.
blocked into
Ooh.
what we have today?
I couldn't have
Away
got
in
through it without you,
Daytona,
friend.
Henry.
I couldn't have got through it without you.
And when I tell you, although it was one of the most darkest times in your life, friend, I'm so grateful to see you get through it. I'm so grateful to see you get through it. The love, the bond, the motherhood, the brotherhood, the sisterhood, the everythinghood that we have is unbreakable.
It is. It is. It is.
You had asked me a question on last week's show with the intimate hour of Vicky and Thadric, where you had asked me if for ever any reason that you could no longer do this show, would I go on with Deliberate Discussions? And like I told you on last week, Deliberate Discussions is nothing without Vicky and Thadric.
Awesome.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for an amazing season. I love you so much, and the best is yet to come.
I know it is, baby.
To our amazing viewers, Deliberate Discussions would not be what it is today without you all, and we do not take that for granted.
That's right.
I'm finna get me a shirt. Deliver the discussion.
I have them. I have shirts. I'm gonna start sending them out. I have shirts. We have shirts.
Again, this show
Okay.
would not be what it is without our amazing viewers. We are so grateful for you all for
We
tuning
really
in
are.
each and every week and spending an hour with us.
Yes.
Through all of our craziness, all of our tears, all of our laughter, you guys have rocked with us till the wheels have fallen off, and we are so grateful for that. This has been an amazing season. I will say season 6 has been our best
It
season.
has. It really has.
Because
I
of
like
you
that.
all. It's because of you all, our amazing viewers, and we're so grateful.
We
Yes.
are.
We
are
ask
so
that you guys continue to rock with us, because season 7 will be even bigger.
Woo.
Okay.
We come back with a bang.
We love
All
you.
right. Don't forget I'm in Daytona.
We coming. We coming for you. We got that email address now.
We love you
right.
guys. We love you guys. We wish
Love
you nothing
y'all
but
too.
the best. We wish. Thank you, Lamisha. Have a good night. Okay, love.
Okay. Y'all
All
have a
right,
good
bye.
one.
Have a good
Bye.
night. Love you.
We love you guys. We wish you guys nothing but the best. And remember, November 5th, please get out and vote.
Yes. Yes.
Please.
Please get out there.